We've got Monday Night Football, and we've got knockout rounds of the in-season tournament. Guess what, guys? I've got three bets for you. This is the free three. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back from the DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as you just try to get to the bag together and make some money. So let's do a full recap over the weekend. We put out two videos, one on Friday, one on Saturday, and we couldn't have gone in the complete polar opposite in either of the video. We went 3-0 on Friday. No sweat bets. We cashed it on the Washington teasers. Shout out to them for making the playoff and sealing their fate there in the Pac-12. Then we also cashed it on the Celtics first half over 114.5. No sweat bet there. We also cashed it on the over in the Nuggets and Suns. No sweat bet there. 3-0 on the day on Friday. And then on Saturday, I gave you three picks on my predictions on what was going to go on in the championship games. We lost on the OK State teaser. They lost by more than 21.5 points. It's just crazy to me. We lost on the Alabama-Georgia over. We added at 55. The game finished at 51. Tough loss there. Then we also lost on Louisville on the money line. So 0-3 on Saturday. So basically a 3-3 weekend. You can see our year-to-date record right here. I updated the record completely to show how we've done on this weekend. So in December, we're 3-3. NFL record, we're still killing it. NBA, we're still killing it. Only thing right now for us is college basketball. We got to turn that ship around. We're about 500 here on the channel, but we got a lot of time there now that conference is starting up. And then college football, we're just one game over 500 there. But I'm not going to lie to you. After the committee's decision yesterday, I'm really pissed off that Florida State didn't get in. So as of right now, I'm probably not betting the college football playoff, but I'll probably change my mind in a few weeks or when the games actually start. But we'll see once bowl season starts. But that's my little soapbox rant of the day on the college football playoff with Florida State not getting in. But I might do a reaction video on my TikTok about that. But if you can, drop a subscribe on the channel and like the video for me. This way we can continue to grow and cash in on best bets together. So let's dive into these first best bets. For our first best bet of the day, we're going to look at this in-season tournament that we have going on in the NBA. We finally got down to the knockout stages after the group rounds, and we have some good matchups today. First, we've got the Celtics and Pacers. This game's going to start about 7:30 on TNT. And when I look at this game, I got to go with the total in this one. And I got to go over it. Why? Because the Pacers are playing. Listen, you can blindly take the Pacers at this point, and trust me, you probably will cash in on the over. The over I got it at is 240.5. I got it at minus 115 odds. Yes, it's a little bit high for an over, but one thing that I know with these Pacers are they're going to go over. The Pacers are 16-2 to the over, and then they're also really strong to the over at home as well. And this game is at home. They're 9-2 to the over at home, and they're 8-0 as underdogs to the over, and they're an underdog in this game. So all the trends and the numbers are saying take the Pacers, take the over, take the game, gonna go over. But the Celtics, when you really look at it, listen, they're only 9-10 to the over, but when you look at their numbers a little bit deeper, against some of the teams that reflect like the Pacers, which are, we don't play any defense, we want to run and gun, we want to just outshoot you. The Celtics have gone over in those games. They played Washington earlier this year. The total was 231.5. They won that game 126-107 going over the over. They played Charlotte a few weeks ago. They lost that game 118-121. The total was at 234, but guess what? That game went over. Pacers team reminds me very similarly to that Washington team. Do I think they're a little bit better? Yes. But do they play defense? No. Do they try to outscore you? Yes. And can the Celtics keep up with you if that's what you're trying to do? Yes. Especially now, I actually like the Celtics offense even better. I mentioned this on my video on Friday because Porzingis is down. So because Porzingis is down, it hurts them defensively, which means I like this over even more because that means that this offense has to lean more on scoring to win games. I mean, we saw that against a 76ers team that's been pretty good this year on the defense, and the Celtics tore right through them. They scored like 71st half points on Friday. So for me, I think that we can really like the over in this matchup. And then keep in mind that these two teams faced off earlier in the year, and Boston dropped 155 points in that game. Even though that game was at home, and we know how Boston plays at TD Garden, but listen, 155 points lets you know that this Celtics team is willing to run and gun with this Pacers team, and they can do that. That total in that game was at 233, and the Pacers only scored 104 in that matchup. Keep in mind, the Pacers are leading the NBA in points per game at 129 points per game, and they only scored 104 in that game but gave up 155. So for me, I'm not overthinking it. We know what the in-season tournament has been for fans. It's actually been pretty good and exciting. I'm not going to lie to you. I like the courts. I like the design and everything like that. But one thing that we've also seen, even with the point differential, I don't think it matters as much here, but the in-season tournament has incentivized scoring. So because of that, I don't think that these guys are just going to break down in a stance and start playing championship defense, maybe, in the finals. But right now, even though it is the playoffs or the bracket time or the knockout round, whatever you want to call it. I do think that right now the offense is going to take precedent here, especially in this in-season tournament. And for me, I think that the offense of both these teams can fly over this total. So let's go with the Celtics and Pacers over 240.5 as my first best bet of the day. For our second best bet, we're going to go to the other in-season tournament game between the Pelicans and Kings. That game's also on TNT. That's coming on after this Celtics matchup here. And I'm going to go with another total here. And I'm going to go with another over here. But I'm going to go with the first half. And I'm going to isolate it to the Pelicans and Kings first half over 115.5. You can play 116.5. I'm seeing that on certain books. I got this at minus 120 odd. And when you look at the numbers, right? Let's just dive into the numbers. We have a fairly high total in this game at about 235, 236.5. Yeah, it's not 240s, 250s high, but it's certainly not 210s, 220s low, right? But when you look at New Orleans team total, when I was researching this game, it was set at 56.5. I've seen some books have it at 57.5, while the Kings are at 58, 59.5. To me, that's just way too low for either of these teams who can absolutely score the ball. Both of these teams are 7th and 8th in first half scoring, both averaging about 58 points per game. I really like to see that. But on the flip side, when you look at their first half defense, guess what? Sacramento is in the bottom 3. They're actually 28th out of 30 teams in first half points per game allowed. They're giving up over 60 points per game. So the reason why we get a little bit of value on the Kings here and on this Pelicans line is because the Pelicans are strong in the first half in terms of on defense. But I think that number's a little skewed because they're not facing teams like the Kings, and the Kings are at home today. The Kings are strong not just in the first half, but at home. The Kings are 6th in possessions per game, but they're averaging about 5 more possessions per game at home than on the road. So I kind of let you see the pace of play that the Kings like to play there when they're in Sacramento. They like to go up and down the court. De'Aaron Fox, they like to push the tempo. They like to shoot a lot of threes. So I think we're going to get another high-scoring matchup in this one. But I think for me, I want to isolate to the first half. And both of these teams actually played earlier this year. Final score of that first half was 64-50. So no, we don't get over the 115.5 number, but it was at 114, which is not, not a bad, it's right there. But also keep in mind that CJ McCollum didn't play in that first half. For me, I think there's more at stake here. The Pelicans got their full lineup, their full roster. For me, I think there's another one where I think that the offense takes precedence. We've been seeing the offenses go at it in these in-season tournament games. The first half totals have been cashing in for us. Not trying to overthink it here. If you don't like this full line, then go with the team total on the Pelicans side. For me, I got it at 56.5. I do like that as well if you don't want to just go with the first half team total over 115.5. But I think you can get yourself a little bit of insurance here just in case the Kings drop like 65. Then you only need the Pelicans to drop like 55, and then you'll be good to go. But let's go with that first half team total over as our second best bet. Now for our third and final best bet, we're going to go to that Monday Night Football matchup, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not a huge fan of this game. Huge spread in it. Jaguars minus 10. Do I think they cover the spread? Yes. Do I think they win this game? Yes. Primetime unders have been cashing. Can this one go under? Yes. But I'm not going to go with that. I'm just going to go with the player prop parlay plus 100 value. Take it as a ladder leg if you want to. And I'm going to go Travis Etienne 15 plus carries. Jake Browning 32 pass attempts. Parlay those together, you get to plus 127 odds. You can't beat that. Let's start with Travis Etienne. We need him to get 15 carries. He's averaging over 17 carries per game on the year. You love to see that. Like I mentioned, we have a big point spread here, 10 points. We're expecting the Jaguars to win this game. I'm expecting the Jaguars to win this game pretty easily. And you know what that means? That means they're going to run the ball late in the game to kill clock. And if they run the ball, that means that there's more carries. I do like his yards as well, Travis Etienne. Why? Because the Bengals have the second worst run defense in all the NFL. His line's about 66 or so. It's a little bit high considering that he hasn't gone over that in a few games. But when you keep in mind how weak this Bengals run defense is, there's no reason why the Jaguars should not keep feeding Etienne here, especially around the goal line as well. So for me, I like Travis Etienne to get to 15 plus carries. I'm not trying to overthink that. Jaguars should be winning the game. Run game should be relevant. Let's just go with that as the first leg of the parlay. The second leg of the parlay, I just mentioned how the Bengals will be down, right? The spread's at 10, which means that they'll probably be down by more than one possession, which means what? The Bengals are going to have to force the ball. They're going to have to throw the ball, right? And I think that they're going to have to do it today. Drake Browning, this is his third week in this Bengals system. For that reason, I think he's more familiar with the offense. He obviously got thrust into the game unexpectedly when Joe Burrow went down with that wrist injury. Last week, he threw it for 26 times against that Steelers team, but that was a real close game. The final score of that game was about 16-10, so there was no reason for him to really be able to throw the ball that much. Like, they could have still ran an efficient offense in terms of handing it off here, throwing it there. They could have been really balanced. You can't be balanced if you're down by 10 points. I'm not saying they're going to be losing by 10 points the entire game, but what I'm saying is the books have been pretty sharp on these primetime matchups. A 10-point spread on a 40-point total tells me all that I need to know, that they don't think the Bengals are going going to score a whole lot of points. So for me, I think this one could be high scoring. It might be. I don't know. But I think the Bengals are going to give up points to the Jags, and the Bengals are going to have to throw the ball here. And then also keep in mind that Jacksonville has the third best run defense, but the fifth worst pass defense. So because of that, I don't see how Joe Mixon really gets going today, especially when the Jaguars probably going to lock in on him and be like, hey, we're going to let everybody else beat us. If this quarterback Browning, I think he's going to get T. Higgins back as well today as well, which is a big wide receiver option as well for him. Boyd as well. Like, if Browning is more familiar with this offense and can really get those guys involved, I don't see why he shouldn't get to these pass attempts, especially if Jacksonville is going to shut down the run with Mixon there. So I'm not trying to overthink it here. Just going with the player prop parlay. Let's get both of these guys to get this done with great value on the odds. Travis Etienne, 15 carries. Drake Browning, 32 pass attempts is our third best bet. And that's it for me today, my friends. Those are our three winners on the day. 2 NBA plays in the in-season tournament. We're going both overs. The Celtics and Pacers over 24.5. The first half over in the Pelicans and Kings over 15.5. And then also we're going with the player prop parlay with ETN 15 carries and Browning 32 pass attempts. 3 winners coming to you on this Monday. Hopefully we'll be celebrating a sweep, and then we'll be back building tomorrow on Tuesday. All right, my friends? As always, get to that paper, get to that money, dictate your fate. I'll see you inside the Discord group. Click that link in the bio to get my college basketball plays and my other picks and winners. And as always, let's get to that chat, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Later, guys.